Hello, EDGE students and support persons. Hope this video finds each of you well, safe, and happy, and ready to get back in the swing of things with school. My name is Rob Pecharich. I'm the principal at EDGE High School and principal of EDGE Himmel Park and district principal over both campuses. Wanted to record this video just to talk about recent decisions to move all students to distance learning and talk a little bit about what distance learning is going to look like to start this school year and how it's different, going to be different from what you may have experienced either at EDGE or other schools during emergency distance learning in the fourth quarter. I'm going to share my screen with you and go through a quick PowerPoint. But as I do so, please know that Dave Thatcher, the principal at EDGE Northwest, and I will be reaching out to families over the next week to make sure you have all your questions answered and are thoroughly prepared for the first day of school on August 17th. So you should now see a quick PowerPoint that we're going to go through. We're going to talk about the basics. Why are we doing this PowerPoint? Why am I recording this video? Well, some decisions were recently made and they impact all students. As you know, we had previously been planning on giving families the option of doing 100% distance learning or a hybrid in-person learning where students would come into the building 2 days a week and then work from home 3 days a week. However, due to recent county health metrics that were released and a recommendation from the Pima County Health Department, which stated that they did not feel it was safe for schools to reopen in Pima County for in-person learning. Our board met earlier in the week, and we're very concerned about the health and safety and wellness of students and their loved ones, and made the decision that it was not safe to open for in-person learning. And so the impact of that is that the hybrid learning option for in-person learning is on pause. And that means all students will be tasked with starting the year in 100% distance learning. Again, the reason was based on caring about people and caring about human lives. And in this time and place, while there are lots of challenges over the past couple of months, nothing is more important than keeping students safe. So the question that remains is, well, you may be asking, how long is this going to last? And you may be thinking, I can't do distance learning for very long. Well, we don't know the answer to that. What we do know is that the board has agreed to meet every month and to consider updated county health metrics to determine whether or not it is safe to reopen for in-person learning and then implement our hybrid learning option. We know that the State Department of Health Services is scheduled to release later this week some statewide health metrics to help schools gauge when it is safe to reopen for hybrid learning. So the board will meet in early to mid-September and will review county health metrics then, and then make a decision about whether or not it's safe to begin implementing our hybrid learning option or whether it's prudent to stay in the 100% distance learning model. As I say that, I know many of you, especially those who were hoping for the hybrid in-person learning model, may be grieving, may be really frustrated, sad, and frustrated, and thinking, I can't do distance learning, and may be drawing upon your experience in the fourth quarter, whether at EDGE or in another school, and feeling let down and feeling like you're not going to be able to succeed. I'll say this, distance learning is harder sometimes than in-person learning. It requires different skill sets from students, from teachers, and from support persons. So there is no doubt that there are some challenges that come with distance learning, and we feel you. Those of you who are frustrated, we understand. We're frustrated too. All our staff were really hoping to be able to interact with you and get back to face-to-face learning. However, we need to be safe, and we need to take care of each other and make sure nobody's health is jeopardized. I do want to encourage everybody that we can do this. We can work together to make sure every student has success. We believe we have put some systems in place to improve how EDGE offers distance learning. And so we're asking you to trust us. to trust that as long as we are forced to do distance learning and in this position, we're going to be busting our butt to make sure we're doing it right and we're trying to do it better each day. So we hope that you'll engage with us and you will push yourself to do a little bit more and a little bit better than you did in the fourth quarter, whether that was at Edge or at a previous school. But we're excited to work with you, and we're ready to take on some new challenges. So first day of school, August 17th. Next week, August 10th through 14th, here's what you can expect. We are going to have a resource distribution day on both Monday, August 10th and Wednesday, August 12th. For families who do not have devices at home, your student, if they lack a device, Edge will be providing a Chromebook to them. We'll loan that to you for the duration of the distance learning timeframe. And you're going to get some other resources from us as well. You should receive a automated voicemail and email on Friday, August 7th from us that will give you details about those resource distribution days. If you already have a device, great. We still want you to come pick up resources because we have a bunch of paper resources and handouts that are going to be really valuable to you. Families should fill out the learning option form that's on our website under current students in the black column on the right. Under resources, you'll find that link there. That's the form that you're going to choose a learning option for when it is safe to resume in-person learning. But on that form, you'll be able to let us know whether or not you need a device or whether you lack Wi-Fi, and we'll work together to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful while at home. That resource distribution day is going to be no contact. So if you are driving to school to pick up those resources, you're just going to pull up to the Edge campus, roll down your windows. Our staff wearing PPE will come provide you with everything you need. So it should be pretty painless, no contact, and pretty quick. And those resource distribution times on August 10th and August 12th are going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, we'll reach out via automated message and email to remind you. Here's what else you're going to get in addition to a Chromebook, assuming you need a Chromebook. And again, if you don't need a device, we still want you to come because you're going to get your schedule. You're going to get your distance learning guide, and that's a guide that's meant for both students and parents. It's just kind of your playbook of essential things you need to do or need to know in order to be successful in distance learning. It's going to include a distance learning readiness checklist, which is just going to be something we're going to want you to review and make sure you've checked all the boxes, because if you do that before the first day of school, we know you're going to be ready to go that first week and have success and have no problem logging on to curriculum and other platforms. You're also going to receive a flyer with directions on how to access a diagnostic assessment in a program called IXL before the first day of school. That diagnostic test, there'll be a reading portion and a math test as well. The two tests should take you a little over an hour and a half. And again, we want you to, if possible, complete that before the first day of school. If you don't do so before the first day of school, that's just going to be one of the first things we have you do on your first couple of days of school. The reason we're having you take a diagnostic test is because Edge is unique in that we really believe in meeting every student where they're at when they walk in our doors. And to do that, we have an assessment that helps us identify what a student's grade level skills are in both reading and math. And how that assessment is useful to us is it allows us to see where some holes may be of things the student either never learned, never mastered, or were never taught. And using that test, we can go back and target those specific skills and provide every individual student with the academic instruction and content that they need. So everything we do at Edge is very much tailored to the individual student. And so we'll ask you to take that assessment before the first day of school if you can, because that's going to give our teachers more information about you and how we can support you, and we can get things going off the ground a little bit quicker. But again, if for whatever reason you're not able to do it, you're going to be tasked with doing that the first day or two of school. And then you're also going to get some other relevant flyers from us. You'll get a school calendar. You'll get some flyers on community resources that may be helpful to you during this pandemic. Again, those resource pickup days, Monday, August 10th and Wednesday, August 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So the big question is, what's distance learning going to look like this quarter as compared to the fourth quarter when we were doing emergency distance learning? We put some things in place to make it a little more structured and a little more supportive of students. So a couple things to point out. EDGE is in a unique position in that because we have used online curriculum for a long time, students doing distance learning will have access to the same curriculum that they would have access to if they were doing in-person learning 5 days a week at EDGE. What that means is that when it is safe to transition to our hybrid in-person learning option, it'll be a seamless transition. You don't have to change courses, change curriculum, move from computer to book. You will be able to just seamlessly pick up wherever you left off, again, when it is safe for our hybrid in-person learning option to continue. In addition, you're going to be assigned, while doing distance learning, the same teachers that you would have as if you were in the building. Again, that's going to make for a seamless transition when it is safe to resume in-person learning. Something that's different to start this school year as opposed to the fourth quarter last year is we're going to be using the Google Classroom platform with students and teachers as a hub for students to go to at the beginning of each class, log in for attendance purposes, check any announcements, check the calendar, participate in any bell work activities before hopping on to video conferencing, instructional support, and before jumping to working on their online curriculum. We will also be using Google Meets for that online instruction. Google Meets is a free video conferencing platform where students will have access to online instruction from their classroom teacher during that entire class period that they're working on that class. In addition, some subjects will be posting online instructional videos that students will have access to as well. Things that are really important to ensure student success while doing distance learning, and these are things that we learned from the fourth quarter last year. It's going to be really important. Students and support persons, please encourage your youth to do this, and that is check your edgehs.org Gmail account daily, because that is going to be our main means of communicating with you. That's how your teachers are going to engage with you, give you instructions, talk to you about calendar events, coursework, those sorts of things. So you want to make sure that you check that email account daily. The other big change is to how attendance will be taken and when students are going to need to work on their courses. And many of these things come from recommendations from the Arizona Department of Education on how they're tracking attendance this year. So something that's new to start the year is that students are going to be tasked with following their class schedule and working on their courses at the scheduled times. So that means, as an example, if a EDGE student decides they want to be in the morning session and first period, let's say from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., they are scheduled for math. They're going to be expected while in distance learning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. to be working on their math course. More specifically, students are going to be expected to log in to Google Classroom at the start of each class. So in this example, at 8 a.m., the student would log on to their Google Classroom for attendance to make sure that they're marked present, check any announcements, participate in any bell work. And then transition over to Google Meets, the video conferencing platform, to quickly check in with the teacher or ask for help if they need it. And then if the student doesn't need any help, once they check in, they can either stay in that Google Meets meeting and mute their microphone, mute their video, and go work on their online curriculum. But they can come back at any time that period that they have a question or need help from that teacher. That teacher will leave that Google Meets video conference session open that whole class period. And so students can stay in that meeting and continually ask questions or come in and out of that video conference as they need support. So let's talk about what that daily schedule will look like for students. For AM students at both campuses, the school day schedule will be from 8:45 to 12:58. And for PM students, their daily schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, will be from 11:58 to 4:11 p.m. Please note that during those time frames, students will be assigned 3 core classes, a math, an English class, and then either science or social studies. In addition, the students will be assigned an elective class as well. Please note this slide says Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Notice Wednesday is omitted, and that is because Wednesday is going to be a little bit different. On Wednesdays, we will ask all students, both morning and afternoon students, to work on classes from 12:30 p.m. to 4:14 p.m. That's because in the mornings, our teachers are going to be engaged in trainings and staff meetings where we're learning how to better support students, where we're engaged in professional learning and looking at student data, talking about how we can better support students during our distance learning to start the year. Again, so on Wednesdays, students will participate in instruction and work on courses from 12:30 to 4:14. On Wednesdays, students will work on just their core classes, so math, English, and then either science or social studies. There are no electives on Wednesdays. We're going to transition to talk about attendance. So the Department of Education has set some high expectations for what they consider a distance learning student to be present for the day. So there are really 2 conditions that EDGE students, while doing distance learning, will be considered present. You have to do 2 things. First thing you have to do at the start of every period, excuse me, is to log on to your Google Classroom and check in. So that's item number 1. Just doing that, however, does not mean that you're present for the day, because the second thing you need to do is one of any of the following things. And that is, you either need to complete an assignment during that class period, or a test or quiz, or you need to participate in a Google Meets instructional session with your teacher, or you need to show progress in your online course. So the online curriculum platforms will show us how much time a student spent working on the course and how many lessons they completed. So again, to be considered present as a distance learning student at EDGE, you need to do 2 things. Check into your Google Classroom each class period, and then either complete an assignment or test, or participate in a Google Meets instructional session, or show progress in an online course during that day. Attendance is really important at EDGE, especially for students who are enrolled at EDGE for credit recovery options. The number 1 factor that correlates with high credit earning at EDGE, it's not intelligence, it's attendance. Students who have great attendance and don't miss school and spend extra time before and after school working on schoolwork are always the students who earn the most credit, who have the most success. On the opposite end of the spectrum, students who have poor attendance are always the students who have lower credit earning. You can't earn credit at EDGE if you're not there. So monitoring attendance is really important to us. You're going to get daily phone calls from us when your student is absent. But we also have a system of escalating interventions if attendance becomes a habitual pattern. So we may schedule a team meeting with you, the student, and the support persons but also include teachers, counselors, academic advisors, school principals. And those meetings are really trying to identify root causes of the attendance issues, try to put some structure in place to support improving the attendance, and then coming up and creating a plan to make up the work. If attendance continues to falter beyond that, then the next intervention is we will ask the student to do a longer school day. So instead of 4 class periods, a student might be asked to do a 5, 6, or 7 period day. And that's for either a set period of time or until the student catches up on all their coursework. And if attendance is still an issue at that point, then it could escalate to other school consequences and school discipline. And ultimately, we're talking about things like suspension and possibly even expulsion if prolonged attendance issues occurred. So here's what you need to know about what to do if you're going to miss class. Again, we know life happens. We know from time to time you may be sick. You may have legit reasons for missing school. Where possible, we always encourage you, students and support persons, schedule appointments to the greatest degree possible outside of your school day hours. If you are a student who is employed, kudos to you for managing both school and work. Speak to your managers about scheduling you for time outside your school day, because those things are going to be vital to your success while distance learning. But if you're going to be absent, please call. It's your responsibility to call the school and let us know you're going to be absent and why. Please also reach out via email to your teacher and let them know that you're not going to be in class. But here's the catch. If you can't be at school because you have a legit reason, okay, great. But your expectation is to do the responsible thing, and that is outside your school day at a time convenient to you that same day, we expect you to spend an hour on the schoolwork that you missed. So as an example, if you missed, let's say one period, period 3, because you had a doctor's appointment, that would mean our expectation is that you call us, let us know you're gonna miss 3rd period, email your teacher, and then spend an hour on that 3rd period coursework sometime later that day. If you miss a full day, you're gonna miss a full day for whatever reason. Again, we're gonna expect that you call, let us know, email all your teachers to let them know you're not gonna be there, and then find an hour for each class period that you missed to make progress on that course that same day. Do that, all is well. We can support daily life things that come up, but again, it's going to be really important that you protect your time in school and treat that as something that is priority number 1. I want to talk a little bit about on-site support. Governor Ducey issued an executive order back in early July in which he said that schools doing distance learning must provide a safe place for on-site support for vulnerable students. And they further defined some examples of what a vulnerable student may be, and that includes English language learners, students with IEPs, students without access to technology at home, and some other things. So what schools know is that all schools have to provide space for families who meet those criteria and need or want to send their student to school so they can have a safe place to work. The Department of Education is going to release more guidance on that, and so schools still have some questions around that, and so we'll give you more information as we know it. What we do know is those rooms at schools are meant to be supervised, but not intended to be a place where schools have to provide instruction. As such, like most schools around the state, we need to create a rotation of staff that will supervise those workspaces. So what that means in reality is sometimes those rooms may be supervised by teachers, edge teachers, but sometimes they may be supervised by principals, by counselors, by deans of students, by office staff. And so they are really meant as a room that is supervised by a trusting adult, but there will not always be instruction provided in those spaces. Because space is limited and our staffing is limited, there will be a sign-up process for that. We'll post a sign-up sheet on our website and ask that by the end of the work week on a Friday, you sign up for space for the following week. If that is something you are interested in, please reach out if you're a Himmel Park student to me personally, and if you're a Northwest student to Dave Thatcher, principal at Edge Northwest, and we'll be talking about that more as we figure out what our system will be once we receive more guidance from the Department of Education. Something Edge is really proud of is our counseling support that we provide. We believe in a holistic educational approach and believe that not only should we be treating and supporting academics, but that it's also important that we treat our minds, our thoughts, and our emotions with the same priority as we treat our physical health and as we do our academics. And Edge is really fortunate to have a really skilled counselor on staff, Lo Sanders, a licensed social worker, who's really great at what he does, really great at helping students develop coping skills. So he will be accessible during distance learning. He will have scheduled times throughout the week where students can log on to Google Meet and schedule time with him. And he'll also have time in his work week to schedule one-on-one appointments for students who need that extra support. He'll also be holding a weekly Google Meets open meeting for support persons of students who want to check in and either have their own things going on they want to talk about or concerns about their students. We will also be posting self-care and wellness resources on our website, and those will include community resources, links to articles, and links to relevant videos that might be of some support. We are also really fortunate to have built relationships with some high-quality behavioral health entities in town. So Edge has relationships with Casa de los Niños and Pathways. So for students who want to be connected to outside counseling services, we can assist with that and even expedite the process and get that set up pretty quickly. In addition, Edge pays for a student assistance program, and what that is a phone number and flyer that students can call 24/7 if they are ever in crises and don't have somebody they can talk to. They can call that number and be connected to counseling resources via phone, via video conference, or even receive referrals for local in-person counseling. And those counseling sessions are all free, paid for by the school, free up to 6 sessions per topic. Pretty cool resource. We want to make sure families and students know about it. Again, that's going to be a flyer that students will pick up during the resource distribution on August 10th and August 12th. So take advantage of those. If you have questions, reach out to Lo Sanders, Dave Thatcher, or myself, and we can talk more about getting those things in place for you. But something we're really proud of. And we know the pandemic, systematic racism, social justice issues, economic issues, all those sorts of things have lots of us struggling through some things right now. So we want to make sure those resources are made known and accessible. Email is going to be the main point of contact for support persons to reach us. So make sure we have your email address. Edge staff resources as well as phone numbers are all available on our website. During distance learning, our main district office at our Himmel Park campus will be open and always staffed. So you can always call there, tell them your concerns or questions, and they'll direct you to the right Edge staff member who will get in touch with you. Another big resource for you that you're going to constantly want to refer to is the Edge Distance Learning Guide. Again, you'll pick that up at Resource Distribution. We'll also push it out via email and post it on our website. But that's going to be a helpful resource as far as expectations and helping navigate some key essential things. You're also going to get with that a readiness checklist, a distance learning readiness checklist that will be helpful for you to go through to make sure you're ready for the first day of school. We want you to get in the habit of always checking our website and our social media. That's where we'll update any news or announcements related to distance learning and any board action item related to that county health data and making a determination about when it's safe to begin implementing that hybrid in-person learning model. We're also going to be sending out a weekly distance learning newsletter that will feature calendar updates, strategies for successful distance learning, reminders about pacing and progress, as well as school events. So we want to make sure students and support persons that you're reading that on a regular basis, because that's going to be another place where you're going to receive a lot of information. And then we're also pleased to introduce a new support person portal where you will be able to access information from our student information system and view your students' grades, attendance, and some other data. That's not up and running yet. As you can imagine, we have our hands full getting ready to start the year, but we do hope to have that up and running for support persons early on in the first quarter. I want to talk briefly about some staffing changes at Edge High School that we're really excited about. Two changes that are Edge Himmel Park campus. Wendy Miller, who has spent 5 years as a math teacher at Edge High School, completed her master's degree in special education and is moving from math to our special education department. We are thrilled about this move. And know that our special education students will be served well by her. Wendy will still be our math department chair, but will be at the helm of special education at our Himmel Park campus. Wendy's move to special education opened up a math vacancy position at Himmel Park, and we are pleased to announce the hiring of Julia Nordland, who has been hired as a math teacher specifically for our upper level math classes. She'll be teaching Algebra 2, Discrete Math, Consumer Math, and Pre-Cal. She's an experienced teacher with a bachelor's degree in applied math, and she exudes passion for math. You're going to love her, and she's a great addition to our staff. We also have a couple of changes, people changing roles at our Northwest campus. Two individuals who were hired late last spring with us. Emily Kaplan, who served last year as a math TA and science teacher, will again teach science, but also teach math classes. And then Kieran McGann, who joined us during the fourth quarter during emergency distance learning as a math TA, will serve again as a math TA and math teacher. So we're thrilled about those changes and those two additions to our Edge team at our Northwest campus. So that's about it. If you have questions and comments, we want you to reach out to us. We'll be in contact over the next week. You can reach out to me, Rob Pecharich, principal at Edge Himmel Park, or Dave Thatcher, principal at Edge Northwest. Contact information on our website. We, again, will be reaching out to you over the course of the next week. But if you have questions before we get a hold of you, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, resource distribution scheduled for Monday, August 10th and Wednesday, August 12th. Thanks for watching this. We can do this together. I'm excited for what this year has in store for us. We're going to grow a lot. There'll be some growing pains, no doubt, but I'm confident that together, our collaboration will have all of us feeling much better about distance learning to start the year than we did last spring. So stay safe, stay healthy, and can't wait to engage with you on August 17th. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.